about what is their perception of strategy. Um, I come from a kind of transnational company with multi businesses. It's a conglomerate, and we have so many business lines, and we operate out of 36 geographies at the moment, different countries. So I'll give you what my take on strategy is, so that you know um, the theme of today's discussion was how to demystify strategy. So I'll attempt to demystify strategy. So I'll say it's basically a direction and scope and of an organization over the long term, and it should determine how resources are configured to meet the needs of the markets and the stakeholders. And there are many stakeholders, including your shareholders, your customers, your suppliers, etc. Uh, it, it, in a sense, is something which is needed to define and communicate an organization's unique position. This is what Ajay talked about, and I'm glad he started with that. And it's to say what should determine how an organizational resource, skills, and competencies should be all combined to create a unique competitive advantage. And I think Ajay alluded to that, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. In an organization like ours, strategy actually is built at various levels. We have a corporate strategy, which is the overall strategy of the organization that is made up of multiple business units operating in multiple markets and geographies. It also determines how the corporation as a whole supports and enhances the value of the business units within it. And a fundamental question to answer is, how do we structure the overall business so that all its parts create more value together than they would do individually? And that is really the crux of corporate strategy. Corporations can do this by building strong internal competencies, by sharing technologies and resources between business units, by raising capital cost very effectively, and by developing and nurturing a strong corporate brand. And that's what many large transnational companies like us do. And many, we hear of so many brands which cut across business lines, but it sort of embodies something to the stakeholders. Sometimes it embodies trust, sometimes it embodies very high level of quality, and there's something which it represents at a very corporate level. Then you have a business strategy, which is a strategy at the business unit level, and it is about competing successfully in individual markets and to address the question, fundamental question, as Bhaskar said, Potter taught you, how do we win in this market? However, this strategy needs to be linked to the objectives identified in the corporate level strategy for it to come together. Otherwise, it won't come together. Competitive analysis, including gathering competitive intelligence, is a great starting point for developing a business unit strategy. It is important for all of us to think about what are our core competencies and how we can use them to meet customer needs in the best possible way. So, just to give you an anecdotal example, when I joined this group almost 22, 23 years ago, my first task was as the chief marketing officer of the pulp and fiber business. And we were the viscose business, which has been the mainstay of Aditya Birla Group. It's been the perpetual cash cow since independence. Incidentally, we are celebrating 75 years this year because it coincides with India's independence. There was an involvement of Mr. Gandhi also in this thing because he was a good friend of Mr. G.D. Birla, and he asked Mr. G.D. Birla to provide an alternative to cotton. This business, after having flourished in around the late 90s, started going south because it met with a formidable competition. And we are talking about substitutes. And why I'm giving this anecdotal example is about basically strategy comes in many forms. This was about a strategy of competing with the substitute fiber. Substitute fiber, which had taken the world by storm because of its unique functional advantages, price advantages, technology advantages, because of the scope of bringing down the unit cost of production by putting up large CP plants, etc. And what we decided to do is to compete with polyester. We had to make it indifferent for customers whether they were buying viscose or polyester. This was a very big sacrifice because we would have to sacrifice a lot in the pricing of viscose. Viscose was almost double the cost of polyester at that time. But this strategy, because of whatever Grasim's unique position was in the industry, it was a virtual monopoly in India at that time, we could carry this through. And since the beginning of 2000, the transformation of viscose business, which was virtually written off because viscose had been declining globally since 70s, and BCG, and very very interestingly, I didn't know that Suresh was an advisor to BCG now, but Arun Maira was the country head of BCG at that time, and in the late 90s and early 2000s, they did one of the largest projects which Mr. Birla had given till that point in time, which was about coming back with a recommendation on this business. And his recommendation, the BCG recommendation, was unequivocally that this business has seen its best days and you should exit this business and you should get some best possible value for it. However, we went against that recommendation and we decided to stay in the business, and with a number of things that we did, which were very strategic in nature, we could actually turn around that business. And it is now history that over the last 2 decades, viscose, which had been declining, has been growing at a faster rate than polyester globally. And it's again on a very interesting track of generating profits. It happened very early in 2000. We were able to bring it back, and it has generated an enormous amount of wealth for the group even in the last 15-20 years. And it continues to be a global leader. It's the number one in its industry. It continues to create new avenues of growth for viscose and is growing at a CAGR of much higher level than polyester did, despite all its advantages. So this is what I would rate as a business level strategy which one did to make the business successful. And of course, it worked to the group's advantage of having a great cash cow again to fund all its ambitions in terms of growth in other businesses, mergers and acquisitions, etc. The third level of strategy I would come to is team strategy. To execute your corporate and business strategies successfully, you need teams throughout your organization to work together. Each of these teams has a different contribution to make, and meaning that each team needs to have its own team level strategy. And however simple this may be, this team strategy must lead directly to the achievement of objectives of the business and corporate strategies. So, this is really what we talk about when we talk about that strategy is nobody's domain really. It is every person and every team in the company who has to virtually live and breathe strategy. It's like Bhaskar said, at some point in time, if people are not aligned and they don't understand what the strategy is, they really can't contribute much to it. So in a way, I think it's really very, very important to ensure that teams work together and teams are aligned on strategy. So I've talked at 3 levels. I've talked at the corporate level, I've talked at the business level, and I've talked at the team level. However, if you see what the trend is in the last couple of years particularly, there is something which is now preceding even the designing of a corporate strategy. And I'm sure all of you have come across it, is that everyone is saying that as a organization, it is very, very important for you to understand what is the purpose of the organization. And purpose is now becoming the starting point for developing strategies for the organization, even at a corporate level. That what is your purpose? In a way, it sort of alludes to what Ajay said, that what are you, what do you want to be, which markets do you want to play in, what kind of products you want to have, and beyond purpose and strategy, there's a whole issue of how does this feed upon your culture and your values, and how will you align the culture and values also as part of your strategy. So, it is, to my mind, strategy is not very complex, but it needs to be very, very clearly understood at all levels in the organization. And last but not the least, I think it's very easy to draw up strategies. And like Ajay said, I think the hell is in the details, or the devil is in the details on execution. And I would say that execution is really what, good execution is what makes for great strategies. So that's really my take on what strategy is, what strategy we have deployed over the years, and of course we are still learning, because I don't think there's any end to this learning today. And today, in the in the times that we are, where we have seen massive disruption, I think what one is hearing about more and more as we work more and more in a virtual world is how digitization is going to become the key strategy for organizations going forward. So thank you. That's really my take. And of course, I'd like to thank Saurabh and Mukesh for having me over on this call. And of course, it's an absolute privilege to be with such luminaries of the industry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Verghese. Mr. Suresh, I think,